Linear binaural mod devices uses dual mode stimulation to soothe tinnitus. Linear combines sound stimulation and multi-pattern tongue pulses to activate hearing and sensory pathways. This dual mode approach weakens tinnitus pathways and helps the brain to stop focusing on tinnitus sounds, which can dramatically reduce the impact tinnitus has on a person's overall quality of life. Linear. Soothe.
The U.S. says it will be ready to help defend Israel if Iran launches an attack on the Jewish state. A response from Tehran is expected after the assassination of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh last week in Tehran, which is thought to be the work of Israel. The Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, though, saying he is determined to stand against Iran. We're going to talk more about this now with Doug Herbert, who joins me on the set. Doug, we have been here before in this Mideast conflict, these fears of this spiraling into a broader regional conflict. This time, though, it does seem like the lines are drawn a bit deeper in the sand. I mean, how close are we to a dramatic escalation?
Yeah, let's compare escalation watches, if you will. Back in April, you'll remember that unprecedented retaliation by Iran, in which it fired around 300 cruise and ballistic missiles and drones at Israel, missiles which were deflected by Israel with the help of the U.S. and also a little bit of help from Jordan. This time around is different in the sense that the reports we're getting and the assessments we're getting is that Iran has an ambition right now to have what's called a decisive attack. It's insisted that it is imperative to respond, retaliate decisively, namely because Hamas's political director was assassinated. They're blaming it on Israel. Israel hasn't acknowledged it, but on its own soil in Tehran. So what might we see? Well, the Institute for the Study of War, we often cite them when we're talking about the war in Ukraine, but they also very closely follow developments around the Mideast. And in their latest report, they're basically saying that what their assessment is of a coordinated, large-scale drone and missile attack by Iran, but also by what's called the axis of resistance. That is Iran's regional proxies, whether it be Hezbollah, whether it be the Houthis, whether it be Iran-backed Iraqi militia, acting in tandem, in a sense, to retaliate for what they perceive as these unwarranted attacks by Israel. So what it might come in the form of is compared to April, when in April it was targeted on these two remote sites in Israel and in Israel alone. This time there might be more projectiles, and they might be, that is, missiles and drones, and fired not exclusively from Iran, but perhaps also from places much closer to Israel, such as Lebanon, such as Syria. And that could change the equation because the missiles would travel much shorter distances, which imply that they would be harder to deflect in time. They had to travel much further when they were fired from Iran. Also changing the location of the strikes, of the targets themselves. So more of guesswork. Yes, there could be one target, or there could be several targets at the same time. And you could also see perhaps the possibility of Iran targeting U.S. forces in the region, especially in eastern Syria. Once again, according to the Institute for the Study of War, and also on an increase in drone and missile attacks over several days, as opposed to just a one-day, one-off attack as we saw in April, and then it was sort of over. They said, we've done our retaliation, you've done your counter-retaliation, it's over. Might be in stages, and the logic behind that being so Iran could learn lessons from each stage of the attack and fine-tune its retaliation as it goes along. These are all scenarios. You might say they're all worst-case scenarios, and you might say that there's still time to avoid any of that. But I will say this, the commander of U.S. Central Command has arrived in the region, a similar scenario to back in April on the eve of the Iran retaliation. Then the U.S. commander of CENTCOM also arrived in the region. A lot of the same chips are lined up.
Doug, what about international moves to hold Iran back, particularly in regard to Jordan?
Yeah, once again, it's like trying to read the tea leaves. But if you're going to do it, the Wall Street Journal in the U.S. is reporting that Iran has essentially rejected the attempts at mediation, at the calls for restraint from U.S. and Arab diplomats, that is, to prevent Iran from retaliating, hold it back. More specifically, Jordan's foreign minister, and this is very interesting, traveled to to Tehran over the weekend to meet with its acting foreign minister. And why is that big? Because, first of all, you haven't had that type of high level trip in about 20 years from Jordan. Jordan has a diplomatic tightrope act to walk in the region. On the one hand, it has longstanding diplomatic ties with Israel. It's an ally of the United States, and one which did shoot down some missiles during that Iranian retaliation back in April, Jordan being in the line literally of fire between Iran and Israel. So it's very wary of that. But at the same time, it has a large Palestinian population on its own soil. It's extremely wary of seeing as being too chummy with Israel and the U.S. So part of the foreign minister's presumable message in Iran this weekend was, we condemn, just as you do, firmly, absolutely, the assassinations, the killings of these Iran-backed leaders in the region. At the same time, we beg, we pray, hold your hand, please, trying to prevent retaliation here. We don't want some wider war, which would be an absolute catastrophic scenario for the wider region.
All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off saying, Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Harakakwadash Ma'amap. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great millstone of my elder Herwan as well. Salutations to the argument of pushing the truth and sincerity and truth, and peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Kalak Boy Yashar from the lines in the Yashar camp. And come on with a quick another lines of news and prophecy. As you can see from that video, I didn't mean to let it play that long, but he was explaining some certain things that I felt, what I'm saying, pretty informative. All right, so the article that is the article that video was talking about is this: the U.S. deploys troops and says ready to defend Israel if Iran launches an attack against the Jewish state. So they're waiting, anticipating on retaliation on Israel because Iran feels like that it was an assassination on one of their top official leaders, and he was executed or assassinated or whatever, whatnot, and they think that the United States and Israel is in the helm of having that happen. So they're anticipating the retaliation. So the United States has sent troops over there, right? Sent troops over there to help defend Israel Jewish state. Now, that's bleeding right into Jeremiah 50 and 45. We're going to get that in a little bit, but let's read a little bit of this article. It says the United States is deploying additional military might in the Middle East as a defense measure with a goal of de-escalating tensions in the region. A White House official said on Sunday. More information from France 24 International Affairs Commander Douglas Herbert. So, so basically, that's pretty much, yeah, that's it, short and sweet to the point. All right. So now, with the United States sending more troops over there, right, to um, that's what I'm saying, going into that's the Lord bringing America back into the mix, all right, because he said drive into a land that's barren and desolate, right? So, and guess how he's getting there? It says um through being pulled into the war. All this is leading up to the war of Armageddon and ultimately the destruction of America. All right. You have so many things, prophetic things happening. You have Russia. You have Russia bringing nuclear warships and submarines over to Cuba. All right, because it's what did the Lord say? Put yourself in array against Babylon round about. Right. You have joint air flights with China and Russia, going over there, coming close to international waterways, still over there in Alaska, close to Alaska, right? Giving provocations, provoking, like normally America's doing the puffing at people, but you got these other nations that are going up against America. These are all things that are being spoken of in the Bible, through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, man. So what are they also really talking about in that news clipping? You're talking about all these different uh, stages of missile threats, right? You have missiles being staged certain places in the Middle East that are quicker to get to Israel or Iran, vice versa, right? And then you had a missile drone strike of over 300 plus missiles shot off at Israel, and America was right there to help intercept. What do you say? Jordan was also right there to help intercept. And they said it was spoke about a similar situation that happened in April. Um, waiting on a retaliation from Iran from another top official getting killed. So these are top officials, and then like how he said that, Jordan is trying to take a diplomatic approach because of the highly uh, popu- populated Palestinian population, um, but also with its direct ties and with Israel and the United States. So they're kind of like trying to play both sides, but eventually they're gonna have to choose one. And all these nations are going to come and turn against America and eventually anyway. So all they're talking about throughout that whole thing is missile strike this, missile strike that, and this is leading up to ultimately our salvation, man. That's the beautiful part about it. It's leading up to our salvation. These things are heating up. I got another video, the lesson I got to do because I did a lesson about a week or two ago speaking on a top elite economist was saying that. Um, the world is on the economic the bubble that the dollar has inflated, right, over the years is about to burst and potentially put the world into a global recession that has never it's a bit the biggest economic event in the history of mankind, in the history of economics. And what is that going to bring in? A new monetary system. Everything is being set up, playing right into the trap that Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has set up for this devil. That new monetary system is going to be what? The MOTB, the micro C hip. That's how they're going to get everything. They're going to flatline this whole thing, right? They're going to bring out war, flatline this whole shit, create and form a monetary system, like because the war is going to flatline the system that we have now and flatline the old world order, so they can revive it with the new world order, like the phoenix rising out of the ashes, right? So this is what's being put set up, but the Yahweh Shema Shai is leading them to their own demise, all right? He's setting this shit up. All right, let's get Isaiah 54:16. It says, "Behold, I have created the smith that blow up the coals in the fire." Right. So these individuals that came up with this missile technology and this nuclear technology, right, was created by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for this purpose, this sole purpose, that purpose alone. It says, it said, "Behold, I have created the smith to blow up the coals in the fire, and that bring forth the instrument for his work." Actually, matter of fact, let me do this before I get that one. Let's get this one. Was how do we, what was the purpose of it? Well, I was going to explain the purpose of it in that, but I want to read this real quick. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. It says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be burning in a fuel of fire," man. We're burning in a fuel of fire. What? That's the missiles. That's the missiles, man. So everybody, these smaller nations like Israel, which Edomites, and Ukraine, Edomites, are drawing America into an all-out world war that's going to flatline this place, man. Utterly destroy this place. That's the judgment that Yahweh Shimei Shai has for this place, man. Going back to that Isaiah says, all right, hold on. Isaiah 9:5 says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this one shall be with burning and fuel of fire." And that's that nuclear destruction, man, that Yahweh Shimei Shai is going to bring down on this place. All right, so now going back to Isaiah 54:16, it said, "Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, right, and that bring forth the instrument for his work, right? That work is that burning and fuel of fire for this new type of war that's being introduced, or was introduced by America during World War II with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's why it says um the second woe has passed and the third woe cometh quickly. That third woe is going to be ultimately World War III, nuclear destruction. All right, it says, I have created the waster to destroy. Right, the waster is those missiles, man. The waster is those missiles. So you got, let's lock it. um, Jeremiah 54:16. It says, behold, no, wrong one. Or that's Isaiah 54:16. I didn't mean to bring that out again. Um, all right, Jeremiah 50:14. It says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. Right. That's what I was speaking about before. These are all the things that are being set up right now, all right, against this place, Babylon the Great. Because Yahweh Shem Yahushai has a sacrifice in Basra, man. A straight slaughter for this place. So um while these nations are getting prepared to rise up against Babylon the Great. All right, so put yourselves in array against Babylon round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against the Lord. Right. So ultimately that's what's gonna happen to this place. But how America's being set up right now, right? This is Jeremiah 15:45, jump down to verse 45. It says, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he has taken against Babylon. Right. Because this is all this is about. All right. It says, and his purpose that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. This is the purpose why all these things are coming about. These missile technologies, everything. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Right. So America's being drawn out into this war. Right. And ultimately, this place is going to be totally destroyed. Total annihilation, desolation, man. And it's all being done by Yahweh by Shem Shai, which is great. And this is ultimately leading up to our salvation, man, and to end the end of our captivity. All right. Well, when this lesson edify and serves purpose without like Sekar Halayim La Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harakak Wadash, my Ma. Double honor to the elder apostle, the great Muslim, and my elder Herwan as well. Salutations to the Akim pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth, and peace and blessing to the men and women and children that believe in the name of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.